Hello there survivors and welcome back to another video in ARK Survival Ascended. Today we're taking a look at all of my best builds on Ragnarok so far, just as we head into the new map release of Valgero. These builds range from simple starter bases made out of wood to crazy castles, both with CKF and castle craft. One of them rebuilding an existing ruin here on the map. We have Bison Stables, Griffin nest stables, of course a modern tech base. We've tried out many new cosmetics like the Flora Moderna build. We have a whole Viking camp and many more builds to take a look at today. So hopefully you enjoy what you see. Most of these, if not all of them, should have build videos or more detailed tours already up on the channel if you want to see more about a specific build. And of course, if you enjoy what you see and you want to see more, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and feel free to leave a comment with a suggestion for a build you'd like to see next. First off, we're heading into a brand new build that I made in anticipation of a new map. This is an all-in-one starter hut. Well, maybe a little bit more than a starter hut. It is a relatively simple build, yet very detailed, and it does offer you quite a lot, so it is kind of an all-in-one thing that will allow you to park your dinos safely inside, at least some of your early game tames. It's got a spot for your flyers all the way at the top, and it even has a little greenhouse attached to it as well, so it offers you all the comforts of the early ARK survival experience without any of the dangers, and it all in a cozy forest build. It was kind of inspired by Hagrid's hut, but I went a little bit bigger to make it a practical base. I personally am very happy with this design. It uses no mods at all. All you need is some of the Frontier and Steampunk skins from the Bob Talltales DLC for the best effect, especially for all the windows that I've added, and I think it is a really nice blend. The rest is just using some paint to get some different effects for the walls. Moving on to something quite different, the modern tech base that I built, actually the tech bunker base, because it has a special place to place down your new tech bunker that they added with the release of Ragnarok. And this of course is a very different type of base, modern shape, futuristic shapes, even with a very clean and elegant aesthetic, using mostly the seamless skin for this white exterior, and of course big windows, so there's plenty of light coming into your base as well. So if you're looking for something more towards the end game of your playthrough, this is definitely a really cool option, especially if you enjoy these modern futuristic designs. And in this one I really tried to play around with different shapes, using some of the new shallow wall pieces, of course, that recently were added in the game, to really make this feel very different from all of the other modern builds that I've done so far. So if you're really looking for something clean, modern and sleek, this one might be the one for you, with plenty of space on the inside for tames on the first layer, as well as of course that tech bunker. Then we even have a little garden section on the outside to provide support for the layers above. And on the second layer you have a big storage and crafting hall for all of your ARK survival needs. And of course, plenty of balconies, including a rooftop balcony for all of your flyers that you could easily park around the base. Moving on to something quite different. Once again, this is another treehouse build. I was really looking forward to doing another one on a tree platform, and of course I had to go for one inspired by the Lord of the Rings, the Lothlorien tree houses. This one definitely gives me some elven vibes. It has a ramp going all the way down to the ground, so it's a lot easier to get your tames up to the platform even without a flyer. And yeah, it really offers quite a lot. The first layer, the platform itself, offers a lot of space for your tames, for your flyers, as well as some of your regular tames that you can walk up with that ramp. A decent amount of space here also, of course, for your bigger crafting needs. For example, an industrial forge, etc. would be best placed on this layer. Then the next layer actually offers the house itself, so this is where you could do most of your crafting and storage, and of course have your bedroom, but you also still have beautiful balconies here that you can maybe do some gardening on, or park some of your smaller flyers. Then we're moving on to a ruin rebuild because of course Ragnarok offers a lot of ruins and it actually offers a lot of castle ruins specifically. I decided to tackle the one in the Redwoods on the new island because it's quite a cool looking castle, and I transformed this back into something with its full glory, trying to rebuild almost all of the ruins here. I didn't do all of the small buildings just because there's not a lot of space in them, not very useful to begin with, but it does offer a really cool castle. You've got a beautiful side gate, front gate, of course fixing up some holes in the walls as well. We have a guard post and watchtower, beautiful towers all around, and of course the main keep where the main castle is, with plenty of space for all of your crafting, storage need, as well as plenty of different rooms for you and your tribe mates. There's even a spot for your tribe tower and a big teleporter, all using the Castle Craft Premium cosmetic, which is a really good way to transform your build into that medieval fantasy world. And especially if you can't use actual mods but only client-side mods, for example, if you're playing on official, this is probably the best skin to use to build your castles. And if we're thinking about Ragnarok, of course, many of us will think about doing some Viking builds. And I was fortunate enough to test the brand new Viking Builder skins when they came out. And of course, I had to do some Vikings builds for that. I built a few different houses here. Your more typical, smaller sized longhouse, a really cool Viking house that I really like the design of, using mostly ramps for the roof. Again, trying to play around with the new pieces that we got for this update. And then I also tried to build the giant longhouse from Assassin's Creed Valhalla in ARK, and I really think this came out great, making for a really nice little Viking village. Well, the longhouse especially is definitely a really big build with plenty of space to be used as your entire base for your ARK playthrough, because the hall itself is big enough even to hold some of your biggest tames like Karchas and Gigas, and it has plenty of room for your storage, crafting needs, of course, bedrooms, whatever you need. You can all easily fit it inside, and then all the way at the top, you even have an aviary for some of your flying friends. Now, I'm definitely starting to get another tingle to maybe do some more Viking builds in the future, but so far I'm really happy with the variety that we have here in this little town, especially because the Viking Builder skins also offers an amazing variety of decor that you can really use to bring your Viking base to life. And one of the projects that I was looking forward to the most was finally starting my proper own Jurassic Park. I've done some builds in the past, but I plan to do more, and I've done quite a few here on Ragnarok already. Starting with the original Jurassic Park Raptor Paddock, which is of course a very iconic build. Probably has been done many times in ARK as well, but I decided to give it my own try using the bunker structure cosmetics, because right around the same time they added a lot of Dino Park skins, which is kind of the perfect aesthetic for these Jurassic Parky builds. So definitely recommended to use those, and I think I came pretty close in my design. Now, the good thing is that I also made a second variant using only vanilla structures, so that if you don't want to get a cosmetic, especially because it's a premium cosmetic, you can also still build a pretty decent looking one just using all the vanilla structures with just stone and some metal, and you still get a pretty good paddock. But of course, with those bunker structures cosmetics, they really get transformed very close to the one you see in the movies, and the bunker structures in general are just really, really good. So good, in fact, that I use them for all the Jurassic Park builds that I've been doing, as well for this visitor center, of course, also from the original Jurassic Park, which was a really fun build to do. It's quite a big build, of course, but definitely would be a really fun ARK base. It offers plenty of space on the inside and, of course, features the iconic thatch roofs on the top, lovely little gardens in the front as well as decorations, and a few big windows to let in plenty of light. Again, using the bunker cosmetics because they just really fit this aesthetic. They've got great variations. They have so many different window shapes and even spinning fans that you can add as details around the build to really bring it alive. And they already have some built-in overgrown features as well to get that little bit more tropical, overgrown, jungly vibe to the build. In fact, I like this build so much that when I hosted my Jurassic Park event for my community, I tried to build it all over again in the forest, in the jungle, hidden as a little bit more of the ruined version that we see in the later Jurassic movies. And also this gives a great effect, although of course, if you're going through this all to rebuild it, it's a little painful to make it partially destroyed, but it does give really cool Jurassic vibes. Then later on, I also decided to do the radio tower that we see in some of the movies in ARK, so a proper bunker looking build. And instead of a radio tower, we actually have a satellite dish on the top because that is a new skin they added to the bunker structure cosmetic, which changes your tribe tower into a spinning, rotating dish that can be awesome for builds like this as a cool detail. And of course, because it spins around, it actually adds a lot of life to your build. The build itself also features plenty of space inside for some breeding projects, some of your tames, or maybe even a battle rig. If we're staying true to the Jurassic vibes, it has a helipad platform as well for your Ryanatha or other flyers, and it just really embraces these cool bunker and Jurassic vibes. Besides those Jurassic builds, I also designed some different fences, some relying on the bunker structure cosmetic, but also some for if you don't own any cosmetics or only free cosmetics, so you can still have some cool fences around your base, maybe to make some enclosures for your own tames to keep them safe, or maybe you're also trying to build your own Jurassic Park and ARK. Everything works. I basically have some different sections and even a little watchtower that you could combine and use to protect your precious tames from everything outside that tries to hurt them. Then one of my bigger projects on Ragnarok was building Castle Neuschwanstein, that's in Germany in real life, in ARK, using the Castle Keeps and Forts mod, CKF, which is a great mod if you like to do medieval castle builds, because it's not a skin, it's an actual mod, so it adds a lot of extra pieces that we don't have in normal ARK, which allow you to just do a lot more different shapes and add a lot more cool details. I quite like the way this one turned out. I think it is pretty close to the one in real life. I visited it a few times and it was really fun bringing this to life and bringing this to ARK. You can actually visit this build because this is the community center on my community servers. If you want more info on those, check out my Discord link in the description. But yeah, I really like this build. There's not a lot of decorations on the inside of these builds because it is on my community servers. Try to keep it as easy to load in for console players as possible, but I do think it looks pretty cool located here in the Highlands, and it would actually make for a pretty cool base. You've got plenty of space in the main hall alone, but you have also a dozen of other buildings around it that you could use for all of your other needs. You have a nice courtyard on the inside to keep your tame safe, so it would definitely be a really fun base to do. And I started on Ragnarok by building, of course, a simple starter base that you could build in the first few days of your ARK playthrough. This time I went for a boathouse that is easy to build on the beach, that also offers some space to park either your raft or, of course, park some of your water tames. I actually also designed a little boat to go alongside this because I had never really done a raft design before, so I felt like it was time. But the little cabin itself also makes for a really nice little house. It offers a decent amount of space to get you started with, and I built two variants actually. One using some of the cozy cabin structures to really get that cabin vibe, but also one just using the vanilla wood textures as well as the frontier skin from the Bob Tall Tales DLC. And then starting with Ragnarok, or actually kind of technically just before Ragnarok, I decided I wanted to be doing more stable builds designed for specific creatures. So with the launch of Ragnarok, of course, the Griffins were added. back to the game. So I decided to design a Griffin Stables, or in this case, a proper Griffin's nest built on the top of a cliff platform and designed to look as much like a nest as possible, although the wooden spikes are definitely something to keep your eyes out on so that you don't hurt your own flyers, but it offers a decent amount of space inside where you can definitely do a really good amount of Griffin breeding without needing any more space. And then on the top you can park some more flies. You can even fit in some wyverns if you also want to maybe go after those new ice wyverns on Ragnarok. And all in all, it just really adds a really cozy nest feeling base to breed all of your griffins, or of course other flyers if you prefer that. And speaking of creature specific stables, with Ragnarok of course we got the bison, which is an awesome looking new tame, so I had to do a bison stable build, and I really like the way this turned out. I've really got a sweet spot for the westerns type of builds anyway, using the frontier skin from the Bob Talltails DLC, which is just a really cool looking skin anyway. I was really happy to dive back into that and do these stables for the bison. It offers quite a decent amount of space for quite a few different pairs of bison, so you can easily do some breeding for them, get all the milk you ever need, and maybe start your own range out there. And yeah, having just a really nice, authentic looking place. And to stay in those similar vibes, I also did an Alpine Lodge. Based on the ones that I've seen on my many hikes in the Alps, I really like the way this came out. Of course, mostly possible now since we have the shallow sloped walls and of course the ramps that you can then use as roofs without leaving any gaps. Really allows us for some different kind of shapes of builds, and I really try to emulate that in this one, feeling very similar to some of the buildings that I've seen on my own hikes. This is a more starter friendly base, maybe beginning to mid game where it really would shine. You have a little stables on the sides to park some of your tames, but mostly you just have that really cozy building with a nice cozy little kitchen and fireplace with a nice sofa in front of it, and of course a warm and cozy bedroom upstairs, but still plenty of space for all of your storage and crafting needs in the basement. Another new cosmetic that I had the pleasure of testing was the Flora Moderna skins, which offers a ton of different variety skins for your modern or nowadays builds, and it actually was a really fun project designing this little street, even some little plazas around and trying to decorate all that. And you can see the differences in skins already present here with the very traditional brick building, but also the modern house with nice white walls, the black roofs, and of course the beautiful big windows. And then especially all of the decorations like the cars, the phone booth, and of course all of these cool statues around really helps bringing a place like this to life. And then finally, I did another Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit inspired build, and that was of course this cozy little Hobbit Hole using the Cozy Cabins cosmetic, because they added a skin for all of the different roof pieces to turn them into grass. So you have your normal ceilings or foundations that you could already turn into grass, but now also the ramps and the roofs have that grass texture, so that really makes for a really cool Hobbit Hole design. And then of course also adding in some round windows and door to really get you close to the Shire and a little cozy home to use in your playthrough. So if you want to live that Hobbit life, you can now do so. And there we go. Those were all of my best builds on Ragnarok so far, of course, because I'm sure that I'll come back to Ragnarok and have many more things to build here before I'm sick of this map, because there's so much variety on this. There's so much space on this map. I'm bound to do some more builds. Let me know down in the comments what was your favorite build here today, and if you got any suggestions for future builds you'd like to see, you can leave them down in the comments as well. And of course, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I hope to see you again in the next video or stream. For now, goodbye.